The Book of Enoch is perhaps the most controversial book that didn't make it into the Christian Bible. It was even referenced by the Apostle Jude, and it contains all kinds of fascinating and mysterious facts. Did you know that the Book of Enoch tells us that fallen angels taught man war and how to fashion metal weapons? Did you know that it reveals the names of the 7 archangels and the 20 princes of the fallen angels? The Book of Enoch even tells us that these fallen angels took human wives, producing a race of giants called Nephilim. But why is there so much controversy about this book? And why was it omitted from the Bible? Were its secrets concealed as part of a cover-up or conspiracy? And should Christians even read the Book of Enoch? Today we're going to go through 10 of these shocking and fantastic facts contained in the Book of Enoch. Stay to the end, because I'll reveal to you what the Book of Enoch tells us about the height of these giant offspring begotten by the union of human women and fallen angels. Fact number 1, the Book of Enoch presents 200 angels called Watcher Angels, who were appointed by God to watch over and guide humans. However, these 200 Watcher Angels lusted after human women, taking them as wives, and causing these women to conceive half-breed gigantic children called the Nephilim. Fact 2, the leader of these 200 Watcher Angels is named Samyaza, and it's Samyaza who was the first to consider sinning against God by having relations with women, and it's he who convinces the other angels to also take human wives. But Samyaza is afraid that the others will not follow through with him. So he leads them to all make binding oaths to commit this sin so that he will not be alone to suffer God's punishment. According to the Book of Enoch, Samyaza says,
I fear you will not indeed agree to do this deed, and I alone shall have to pay the penalty of a great sin. And they all answered him and said, Let us all swear an oath and bind ourselves by mutual imprecations, not to abandon this plan, but to do this thing.
Fact 3. So the 200 Watcher Angels go and seduce human women and have children with them. This all happens before the flood and before Noah builds the ark. As a result of the influence of these fallen angels, man's wickedness grows. They became corrupt and practiced sexual immorality, led by the angels and their offspring, the sons of God or Nephilim. According to Enoch, this is the reason for the flood and why God destroys man during the time of Noah. Fact 4. Of the 200 fallen angels, one is named Azazel, who is also in the Bible, where he is the scapegoat, which carries the sins of the people. It's this fallen angel, Azazel, who teaches men the art of war and how to fashion metal into weapons like swords, spears, and shields. The Book of Enoch also tells us that it's Azazel who also teaches women how to use pigments to color their face, cheeks, and their eyelids for the purpose of seducing men. Shocking fact number 5. God commands Michael the archangel to go and bind up and imprison the 200 fallen Watcher Angels deep within the earth until Judgment Day.
And the Lord said unto Michael, Go and bind Samyaza and his associates, who have joined themselves with women, so as to have defiled themselves with them in their uncleanliness. Wait until their sons have slain one another, and they have seen the destruction of their beloved offspring. Then bind them fast for 70 generations in the valleys of the earth till the day of their judgment. At the consummation of their judgment, that is forever and ever, they shall then be led off to the abyss of fire for eternity.
Those are the first 5 amazing facts about the Book of Enoch. If you're learning a lot and enjoying it, please consider liking this video and consider subscribing and hitting the bell. Continuing with the last 5 facts. Fact 6. According to the Book of Enoch, Enoch was chosen by God to receive special visions and prophecies about the end of the world. Christians have been puzzled for hundreds of years by the fact that the Apostle Jude, one of the 12 apostles, quotes the text of Enoch in the New Testament. As we see, the apostle references this text in Jude chapter 1 verse 14, where he says, And Enoch also the 7th from Adam prophesied of these, saying, Behold, the Lord cometh with 10,000s of his saints. So clearly Jude, one of the 12 apostles, believed in the Book of Enoch, and this is why its exclusion has been so controversial. It never made it into the New Testament, and it was lost until 1773, when the explorer James Bruce discovered 3 copies of the Book of Enoch in Ethiopia. Soon after its discovery, scholars began to realize that this was the Book of Enoch that was referenced by Jude in the New Testament. While its discovery does shed light on certain details contained in other deuterocanonical books and reflects and preserves ancient Jewish legend, it is not included in Jewish or Christian Bibles, primarily as its authenticity is in doubt, failing on points of being inspired by God and containing no errors or contradictions, some of which I will detail further. Fact number 7. Enoch reveals that God wanted a solar calendar instead of a lunar calendar, which is practiced in ancient Judaism and detailed in the Old Testament according to Moses. The calendar of the Jews is based on the cycles of the moon, where dates for Passover and other religious feast days are determined by the cycle of the moon. Enoch, however, in the Book of Enoch, details God's instructions and desire for a solar calendar based on 365 days. This is in clear contradictions to God's instructions from Moses contained in the Old Testament. Fact number 8. The Book of Enoch states that the Second Temple in Jerusalem was not pleasing to God, and the Book of Enoch suggests that the rebuilt temple was an abomination. From the Book of Enoch.
The Jews, when they returned from exile, reared up that tower, and they began again to place a table before the tower, but all the bread on it was polluted and not pure.
Here Enoch refers to the temple as a tower, and as God's altar as a table. He's saying that the bread, the offering, that was placed there was polluted, so God did not accept it. This is in stark contrast and contradictory to God's recorded acceptance of the rebuilt temple as detailed throughout the Old and New Testaments. I would particularly point to God's acceptance of his Son's consecration as detailed in Luke chapter 2 verses 22 through 40, where according to the law of Moses, Jesus is brought to the temple and dedicated to God by Joseph and Mary. Fact number 9 about the Book of Enoch describes the coming Son of Man, the chosen one, the anointed, the Messiah, and the righteous one. The language appears completely in sync and reflects other sacred texts within the Old and New Testaments. The Book of Enoch says that the Son of Man will sit on a throne of glory. He will judge the living and the dead. He will come down to earth and dwell with the righteous. He will destroy sinners and remove kings and rulers who are against God. He will be a light to the nations. He will be worshipped by all who dwell on the earth. In his name the righteous will have salvation, and that this messianic figure will usher in an era of peace in a 1,000-year reign. All of which matches the New Testament description of Jesus with one glaring difference, which is recorded in Enoch chapter 71, where the angel reveals to Enoch, who is describing the Son of Man, that it's he who is the Son of Man. It's an obviously heretical claim, and one that is confusing, as Enoch, who is witnessing and describing the Son of Man, to be then told that it's really him who is the promised Messiah. This error is found in all 3 copies of the Book of Enoch. It's possible that this is a corruption and error in the text, as the text does continue to describe the Son of Man which Enoch is looking at in his vision. The 10th interesting fact about the Book of Enoch is that Hades, or as we call it in English, hell, has 4 hollowed out and distinct subregions. Each of these 4 hollowed hells are assigned to contain different kinds of sinners. One of the 4 areas is illuminated and bright, while the other 3 are dark. According to 1st Enoch, the first place is illuminated by a bright fountain and a light, and it's a pleasant place. It's paradise. The other 3 places are less welcoming and dark. One is for the worst sinners, those totally evil people. The second hell is for people who were murdered, so that they can testify and bring justice against their murderers, which is kind of strange. The third hollow place is for sinners who were not grievous sinners, but they weren't righteous. They weren't very good people, and so they've got to go to this sort of lesser hell. And here's another point of concern regarding this book. It comes dangerously close to suggesting righteous acts have some bearing on a person's eternal salvation. The Book of Enoch then tells us that below these 4 areas, down deeper, is a place called the Cauldron of Fire. It's this pot or cauldron of fire where the wicked angels, like the 200 who seduced women and produced the Nephilim, are cast into by the archangel Michael. And those are the 10 facts about the Book of Enoch. It was not excluded from the Bible as some effort by the early church to conceal any truths. While it does, as many other ancient texts, offer insight into ancient beliefs and traditions. It's not the infallible Word of God, nor should it be treated as Scripture. And if it was available during the canonization of the Holy Bible, it would still be left out for the reasons I provided. For Christians, it's worth understanding what it says and how it may lead some from the truth contained within the Bible. For the basic claims that it was omitted as part of some willful effort to conceal truth is an attack on the integrity of those who God chose to record and safeguard the truth of His Word. I saved the most interesting fact till the end, and that is, how tall were these Nephilim giants? Well, according to 1 Enoch chapter 7, it says the Nephilim were 300 cubits high. A cubit is about 18 inches, so this means that the Nephilim giants were about 450 feet tall. That's pretty impressive. So those are the fun, interesting, and shocking facts about the Book of Enoch. Did I miss anything? Please leave a comment below. I love reading your comments and getting ideas for videos from you. So please enter into the conversation with your thoughts about this fascinating Book of Enoch. Remember, you're the Lord's, the light of the world and the salt of the earth, so go out there and brighten the world. Before you go, make sure you do subscribe and hit the bell, and that way you'll get notified when the next video comes out. God bless.